Today we're going to be installing some new Alienation BMX components onto my bike. We're going to have the invisible touch seat as well as the Foot Fetish pedals. We'll show those and talk about those in a sec. And the ESL stem compression cap. So without any further delay, let's get right on into it. And to start things off, let's take our shout out to Park Tool Allen wrench here and start taking off the pedals. If you remember, putting pedals onto our bike means tightening it to the front whenever the bike is upright. So that means that loosening it should be going backwards. And I'm not gonna lie, that was my second take at that because the first time it did not go very well. I couldn't get it, as you can see. So we'll take off. I was and have been riding the Foothold pedals for the longest time. Basically since they came out when I wasn't testing the Foot Fetish pedals. And I am pumped to move back to the Foot Fetish pedals because you might be able to tell here, they have a larger platform on them. They're a little bit more squared, I guess you could call it, which makes it a little bit larger there, as well as the general footprint itself is larger. And they have concavity in both this direction as well as this direction, where I believe the Foothold doesn't have any in this direction, just in this direction. So having such a large platform that is concaved in both directions just makes your foot sit in there so comfortably. There's also micro-knurling on these now that the Foothold did not have, as well as 2 extra pins in the middle that it didn't have. These pins are also larger, which you might be able to tell from the camera angle here. And I just genuinely loved these when I was riding them before, so I am super pumped to get them back onto my bike. With that being said, let's go ahead and get the other one loosened up here. So we go the same direction because one of our pedals has a reverse thread. Oh my gosh. Am I about to struggle again? Thought I was about to bust some knuckles in the busted knuckle bike garage here. Another difference here is that the Foothold pedal has 1 sealed bearing in it, whereas the Foot Fetish pedal has 2 self-lubricating DU bushings in there, so there's no bearings that could go bad. And yeah, there's that as well. So we have the right pedal here. We can go ahead and start putting the right pedal on. I'm just so pumped that these are finally out and available for everyone, because when I first rode them, I loved them then. And now, you know, that was at a time when they weren't available, but now they're available to everyone and you can get your hands on a pair right now. Another thing about them too that I forgot to mention is that the spindle in them is larger than the Foothold as well. So not only are they larger, more comfortable with better pin traction, micro-knurling and everything, they also have a bigger spindle, which should make it stronger. So I think these pedals are almost better in every way possible. The only thing I could think of is, you know, the smoothness that you get with a sealed bearing is something that could be a factor here, but I have yet to ride the finished version of these, so we will leave that difference for a later video, and we'll see if there's enough of a difference there between these DU bushings and a sealed bearing in there to make me care. I know when I first rode them, they were in the testing phase, and there were things that we were working out with them, and I didn't even care about that. So I think I'm gonna be happy with it. Yeah, these pedals are sick. So next, we'll just go ahead and jump up there a little bit to put on the new compression cap. And here we are to put on this new fork cap. This is the ESL Fork Cap, and I wanted to read a couple things about it here because I really didn't give a ton of information in my unboxing. So these are made from 7075 aluminum. They do have a 6mm Allen in the top of it. They are a M24 by 1.5 millimeter two-step thread on them. They weigh 30 grams and they come in black, blue, red, and silver, aka polished. So we have the black one here, obviously. Let's take off the old one. I figured when I was looking at some new stuff that Alienation has here, I noticed that they had these fork caps available now after working on them for a while, and I noticed that my fork cap that comes on the S&M forks doesn't have any branding on it, so I figured, why not grab something that has branding on it for a company that I work with. And before we actually continue with this here, I should probably loosen up these stem bolts, which I totally neglected to do. You should definitely do that whenever you're going to replace your compression cap. So we got both sides loosened up here. Now get this starting to thread in. All right, so it appears that we are tight here. I have no idea if my stem is aligned with my fork, but I'm just gonna tighten this down for now because I am in a hurry at this point. Sponge is on his way to the skate park, but we have the ESL Alienation Fork Cap installed now. Now we'll move backward to get to the seat. All right, and before we can actually put on the new seat, obviously we have to take off the old seat. This is the gripper seat from Alienation because the sides are meant to be super grippy, and it definitely is. But one thing I'm excited for with this new seat is that apparently the material on it is extremely grippy as well. So it has this cool pattern on it, but is also grippy. And that's something that in the past, I've had these cool seats that I liked the pattern on them, but they had hardly any grip. This one, I've heard, is much, much better. And also, if you take a look at this gripper seat, once we take it off all the way, you can see that it is still in like perfect shape. I've been riding this seat, I think since I built this bike. It's definitely been a long time that I've been riding this seat, and normally I go through seats, but since the Alienation Psycho seat, then the Thunderbird, now this, I haven't even ripped a seat yet, so pretty stoked on that. Now we can get the Invisible Touch, which I don't know if I showed the packaging on it. It's got this cool, vibrating motion blur to it that just looks pretty sweet with the packaging, and that's cool, I think. So we have this seat here, which I just think this seat looks so cool. They also have gloves available with this same pattern on it. So if you like the seat and you wanted to get your hands in, not on, in a pair of gloves, you can do that. Now, let's go ahead and get this thing tightened into my post here. Try and get this spun in as quickly as possible so I can go ride my bike with Sponge at the skate park. Sounds super windy outside, but it's 50 something degrees out, and we have to take advantage of those days when we get them. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. And I'm pumped to go and test these pedals back out again and ride them for the first time in quite a while. So let's reset and say goodbye. And there we have it, freshly installed Invisible Touch seat, Foot Fetish pedals, and ESL Fork Cap. Huge thank you to Alienation for sending these things out and supporting me. I love Alienation stuff, and if you watch the unboxing, you can hear me talk all about that. But for now, I want to let you know that all of this is available. You can get it at any bike shop that distributes through JBI, as well as any mail order that sells Alienation or Alienation's web store. I want to thank you for watching. Thanks again to Alienation for the support, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for another video. Goodbye.